Our house here in Victoria. And it's a little bit chilly this morning, but it sure was beautiful yesterday afternoon. And so that has got good things to come on weather. And on Sunday, I'm going to talk about the story of Stephen. And I've entitled my message From Chaos to Catastrophe, or Is It? So we'll talk a little bit about the martyrdom of Stephen. This is just a fascinating part of the book of Acts. We move from this period of the Camelot that we talked about last week to the martyrdom of Stephen and the chaos that ensued. I promised yesterday in my written note, or today actually, today's Wednesday, I've shared a little bit about dealing with some of the typical mental strains that come with the COVID situation we're in. You know, these lists are in the news feeds all the time. So there's poor sleep, anxiety, loss of energy, loss of sense of pleasure, and then they always list the things that you can do. Limit your screen time, read less bad news. A lot of it pretty obvious. But I was struck by one thing that included on this list yesterday, and that was gratitude. If we give thanks, we express gratitude day by day, and even though things are difficult and these are times of tremendous loss in lots of ways, the gratitude is a real salvation for us, and we thank God for all that He is doing to keep us well and whole in spite of the situation. And the other thing, the real clincher, is that I suggest everybody who's having a bit of a difficult time get out to Bouchard Gardens. It's open again, and we went on Monday, and there was no lineup in terms of parking, of course, but we did have to wait about 20 minutes as they were letting people in. So there's a bit of a wait, but it was pleasant enough, as you know. But the real thing is the tulips. This is our first spring here in Victoria, and the tulips are just magnificent. Will lift your heart immensely. If you can do it, get out and see the tulips. They're in their real glory right now. And then just as a bit of an interesting sidebar, following upon the comments on Sunday about land, the disposition of land, how central it was to Israelite culture and the land of Israel, and how the Christians, one of the first things they did was they began to sell their land and distribute the goods for the common good of the people, which was a very significant thing for them to do as a community, and marked a real sea change, a very definite change in the principles upon which the community was established vis-a-vis the land of Israel. And just as in addition to that, I wanted to note this fact that the women supported Jesus' ministry as he traveled. And if you go to Acts 8:3, Jesus is 1 through 3. Jesus is going through the villages and the towns, proclaiming and bringing the good news of Jesus. The 12 are with him, as well as some of the women who had been cured of evil, it says, spirits and infirmities. Mary called Magdalene, from whom the 7 demons had gone out, and Joanna, the wife of Herod's steward, Chuza, and Susanna, and many others who provided for them out of their resources. This is a very interesting passage in Luke. And of course, he's a champion of women and known for his egalitarian views on women. But it does raise this interesting question of how would women be able to give funds out of their own households to support Jesus, much less travel around with an itinerant preacher. It wasn't unknown for itinerant preachers to travel with women who supported them by their means, but it does raise questions about how in a patriarchal society, in a system of patrimony where all the property resides with the husband, would women have funds to do that? Well, they might have had gifts that were given to them by their husband over which they controlled the distribution of. They might have, if their husband had deceased, the dowry returns to the woman, so she has money to dispose of as she wishes. There might be income. Let's say there was some sort of business proposition, as we do see sometimes in the New Testament, women who have a source of income. But it's really remarkable that you have in a society where land is so affixed to the men, that women have resources to support Jesus. And I think it really speaks to another aspect of the revolutionary nature of the Christian movement and the way in which it changed the way the economy worked. And these women are real heroes of the story. And of course, Luke wrote both the Gospel and Acts, where we are now. And we'll see throughout Acts that other prominent women play these key roles in the growth of the early church. And, you know, I often say history is written by men, for men. If we could go back and see this Christian history written from the perspective of the many women who were central and key to the success of not only Jesus' ministry, but of the early church, we would be amazed at the importance of their contribution to everything that we are in the Christian church. And of course, we all know that women really run the church these days as well. They're real power brokers. So there you are. That's for this Wednesday. And we look forward to seeing you on church come Sunday. And we'll get together and we'll celebrate and we'll sing and have a lovely time and continue our life together as a church, even though we're separated by space and in our different homes. God bless you this week. I pray that you'll have joy and peace in your heart, and you all get out there to Bouchard and see the tulips. It'll do you good.